Hello there, how are you guys doing? I hope all of you are doing really well. To continue our series, today what we're going to talk about is the most important topic in today's day and age. It is one of the topics which is the most feared as well as सबसे हॉट टॉपिक है इस टाइम, ले ऑफ. क्या होगा अगर आप ले ऑफ हो जाए? क्या होगा अगर आपकी नौकरी सडनली चली जाए? इज दैट समथिंग दैट कैन हैपन टू यू? द शॉर्ट आंसर इज येस. क्या आपको लगता है आपके साथ ऐसा होने वाला है? द आंसर इज नो, क्योंकि किसी को लगता ही नहीं है कि वो ले ऑफ हो सकते हैं. एवरी वन थिंक्स कि मेरे साथ नहीं होगा. बट वॉट इफ इट हैपन्स टू यू? प्री पैंडमिक दिस वॉज अ अनहर्ड टर्म ऑफ. ऐसा कुछ नहीं ले ऑफ होता था कि 50%, 60%, 40% of new beginners in the corporate career were laid off within a year, 2 years, etc. But post pandemic, after a lot of growth and a lot of overhiring throughout 2021 to 2023, हुआ क्या कि a lot of organizations realized that when the going was not that great, they realized that hey, maybe I can't keep all of the people that I've hired. So hence they started to begin this cost cutting using layoff as a measure. Usually what used to happen was they used to cut only the entry level jobs, or let's say functions which are not very uh, important or that productive, like HR, finance, और मे बी ऑपरेशंस, जो कि डायरेक्टली रेवेन्यू में कंट्रीब्यूट नहीं करते थे. बट नाउ व्हाट वी आर सीइंग इज कि इवन टॉप मैनेजमेंट, मिडिल मैनेजमेंट हैज़ बीन स्टार्टिंग टू गेट लेड ऑफ. तो किसी का टाइम कभी भी आ सकता है. तो आप अगर इस सिचुएशन में कभी भी आते हैं तो आपको क्या करना चाहिए इज़ वॉट दिस एंटायर वीडियो इज़ गोइंग टू बी ऑल अबाउट. दिस इज़ वन ऑफ द मोस्ट यूनिक वीडियोज़ और यूनिक टॉपिक्स दैट यू वुड हैव सीन, बिकॉज हम सब सिर्फ ये देखते रहते हैं, सुनते रहते हैं कि ले ऑफ हो सकता है, ले ऑफ होता है. एक्स कंपनी में से 50,000 पीपल आर लेड ऑफ, वाई कंपनीज 20,000 people laid off, etc. And these are very big companies. Very large MNCs also have started to lay off. Now, what to do if you are laid off, right? Now, before we begin, what to do when you are laid off, I want to first really go back and see कि क्या आप ले ऑफ सडनली हो सकते हैं 2025 में, और अगर होने वाले हैं या आपको आंसर येस है कि हाँ हो सकते हैं, तो उसको पहचानने का द टाइम दैट यू आर गोइंग टू बी लेड ऑफ, हाउ टू रियली सी what are those factors or what are those parameters or what are those signs that really lead to a layoff. So we'll first understand that. Okay, the first factor is, if you are a working professional and you have not moved upwards or laterally in your company in the last 18 to 24 months, आपकी ना प्रमोशन हुई है, ना आपने कोई नया रोल किया, आप सेम रोल पे 1.5 से 2 साल से हैं, इसका मोस्ट लाइकली मतलब ये है कि आपकी कंपनी आपको ग्रो नहीं करवाना चाहती है, आप नहीं कर पा रहे हैं वहाँ पे ग्रोथ. सो दिस इज़ वन ऑफ द साइंस, इनिशियल साइंस, दैट यू माइट बी लेड ऑफ वेरी सून, और you might be considered in a few months to be laid off from your company. The second is, आपने कभी अपस्किलिंग की ही नहीं या सोचा ही नहीं. पिछले 1 साल में आपने कोई कोर्स नहीं किया, कोई नई सर्टिफिकेशन नहीं की, यू हैव नॉट अपस्किल्ड, रीस्किल्ड योरसेल्फ, एटसेट्रा. दिस इज ऑल्सो अ ह्यूज barrier to let's say growth in your career. So this can also lead to a sudden layoff. The third one is wait and see approach या wait and see ostrich approach. सिर्फ ये सोचते रहना कि मेरे साथ नहीं हो सकता, ये तो न्यूज़ होती है, हेडलाइन होती है, 20,000 people laid off, or Microsoft lays off 15,000, Amazon is starting to lay off 14,000 people this year only, that too in middle management. So if you think it can't happen to you, you are fooling yourself. It can definitely happen to you, and this is another sign that you're not really conscious of this fact. Next thing is, you're very afraid of underperformance, and hence you don't even take any risks in your current role. तो अगर आप ये सोचेंगे कि मेरी तो परफॉर्मेंस अच्छी, मतलब मैं बस एवरेजली करता रहूँ, बहुत ज़्यादा रिस्क ना लेके, बस मेरी परफॉर्मेंस ख़राब ना हो जाए, तो इस वजह से आप कुछ अलग नहीं करते अपने रोल में, कुछ स्टैंड आउट नहीं करते अपने रोल में, तो यू बिकम जस्ट अनदर कॉग इन द व्हील एंड यू आर हाईली डिस्पेंसिबल और रिप्लेसेबल. सो if you take risks, you get into situations where you become an expert in something in your company. Without risk, you can't. So hence, just being scared of underperformance is not what it will take. आप अपनी मैनेजमेंट से नहीं मांगते हैं और काम, आपको लगता है कि मेरे को जितना काम मिला वो उतना ही बहुत है, मैं उतना कर लूँ, दैट्स इट. बट योर टॉप मैनेजमेंट ओनली एंड ओनली prefers people who are go-getters, who want to do more than what is required. So if you are that person, it is another sign. If you are being neglected also, you feel कि आपको, you're not being asked to do some extra work, you're not being asked to essentially get into a new project, etc., that's a very 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 big red flag. Okay. Another thing is, आप अपनी करंट जॉब और कंपनी में बहुत लॉयल हैं, आपको अपनी नेटवर्थ ही नहीं पता अभी. अब आप सोचेंगे कि यार अगर मैं लॉयल हूँ अपनी कंपनी में तो द कंपनी शुड रिवॉर्ड मी, बट ऐसा नहीं होता. बिकॉज इफ़ यू आर वेरी लॉयल टू द कंपनी, यू डोंट रियली आस्क फॉर अ लॉट ऑफ मनी, यू डोंट रियली ग्रो. आपको लगता है कि मैं जो कर रहा हूँ, मेरे को मेरी कंपनी के साथ मैं 5 साल से हूँ, तो देर रिकग्नाइज माई एफर्ट एट्सेट्रा एट्सेट्रा. The fact of the matter is that if you are with the same company for too long, your growth actually hampers. You're not going in the market and knowing your real worth, because if you interview, obviously you'll get more salary, but if you keep up with the same organization and you're not growing, तो आपकी salary वही inflation linked बढ़ेगी, तो which means that you'll fall behind very soon. And if you're falling behind, the company might think that he is not a good performer, and hence let's cut loose this guy from the company. And the companies are, किसी की नहीं होती कोई company. Okay, you have to look out for yourself. You don't have to get quite emotional about your company or your role. Followed by, अगर आपने पिछले 6 महीने में कोई इंटरव्यू दिया ही नहीं है, आपको पता ही नहीं है कि क्या इंटरव्यू होता है, कैसे इंटरव्यू देना होता है, तो यू आर अ डेटेड पर्सन. आपका कभी भी पत्ता कट सकता है, यू नेवर रियलाइज that hey, something went wrong and I have not given a good I don't know how to interview outside. So if you don't know how to interview outside, you will, at the back of your mind, will not be ready if something happens to you, right? So according to me, in this economic environment, being layoff ready is like buying insurance, is like buying car insurance. आप गाड़ी खरीदते हो, आप सड़क पे चलते हो, तो आप चाहते हो ना कि मेरी, कभी आप ये नहीं चाहोगे कि मैं गाड़ी खरीद के गाड़ी चला रहा हूँ, दैट द कार माइट गेट इनटू एन एक्सीडेंट, बट यू स्टिल बाय इंश्योरेंस सो दैट if it happens, if you are in an unforeseen circumstance with the car, then your costs are covered, you are sorted, right? Similarly, in today's day and age, if you are not layoff ready, it's like you don't have car insurance, and that is very stupid, right? So being layoff ready is super important. It's like buying insurance. Okay, now before we understand what to do when you get laid off, first let's understand what not to do when you're laid off, right? First thing, don't panic. Okay, this is quite usual to happen. This is quite common circumstance nowadays people get in. So panicking will not really make any changes to your situation. And what you need or don't need to do, absolutely don't need to do, is go and quickly just go on all these websites like LinkedIn, Naukri, etc., and start clicking on this apply button, because this will just create more pressure on your mental well-being. Why? Because suddenly you'll apply to 50 roles, you'll not get any interview calls, and then you'll panic more, right? So taking a step back is something that you'd want to do, maybe a couple of days off, maybe a week off, and just think what can you do, strategize accordingly, right? But don't just in a haphazard manner start clicking on apply buttons left, right, and center. It will just worsen your situation. Like I said, added pressure is something that you don't want to take, and most of the recruiters you'll not get a lot of traction from, because these online jobs or applications don't work anymore. So then how do we really be layoff ready? First of all, know your job market, right? So for example, in this case, I am kind of this is for one particular example. So let's say this is software engineering. So how many professionals in the industry are there? What number of jobs are, were changed in the last 12 months? The open jobs right now in the market. What city has the most number of jobs? What companies are the top companies? How many people are open to new opportunities? Is there demand in the market or not? What locations are really growing, etc., etc. So basically, things like number of professionals in your role in the industry. That's a good starting point. Are you in a profession which doesn't have a lot of people, or are you in a profession which has a lot of people and hence there is a lot of demand, right? Or sorry, there's a lot of competition. But can you somehow get into a profession where there are not a lot of people and there is less competition and high demand? So ये जानना बहुत ज़रूरी है सबसे पहले. दूसरा, पिछले 12 महीने में कितनी जॉब्स आई हैं मार्केट में या स्विच हुई हैं और अभी कितनी ओपन जॉब्स हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर पिछले 12 महीने में फॉर एग्जांपल देयर वर 12,000 जॉब्स दैट वर स्विच्ड, which means that 1,000 jobs per month is something that was switched in the last 12 months, and right now there are 1,500 or 2,000 open jobs. इसका मतलब ये है कि पिछले 12 महीने से अभी the market is in a uptick, or the market has a lot of open jobs more than previous years, right? So you are in a safe zone. So this is very important to know. Then how many people are actually engaging with these open jobs? That's also very important to understand. If you are, आपका कितना कंपटीशन होने वाला है मार्केट में, हायरिंग डिमांड कैसी है मार्केट में इस टाइम, रिसर्च कर सकते हो आप, आर्टिकल्स पढ़ सकते हो. You can go around in the market and ask people who work in the same industry or in the same role, how is it going. Top designations कौन सी हायर हो रही हैं आपके रोल, आपके फंक्शन में, that is also very important to know. What are the top companies that are hiring right now? That's super important, right? Top locations being hired right now, again, very critical. And the top skills required in your current roles, right? So all of these particular let's say factors is something that you should definitely be knowing in your function or in your area or in your city for the role that you're working in. Research is the word to go. All right, spend some time to just know all of this, because then you'll be more clear. Clarity आपको ज़्यादा होगी, आपको ज़्यादा confidence होगा on where to go, where to start, etc. Then LinkedIn सबसे पहले अपना ठीक करना भी आपको बहुत ज़रूरी है. That essentially, how can you be LinkedIn ready? I'll do a complete new video on LinkedIn, but I'll just cover a few pointers so that you get the starting point of this, and then there will be another huge or full video on how to be LinkedIn ready. But focusing on LinkedIn personal branding is very important. The number one thing is you don't have to redo anything. Your brand already exists. You already have a LinkedIn profile. What you need to basically focus on is you need to make it visible. Now, when I say make it visible, imagine that there is a recruiter doing a search for your kind of profile, और आपकी प्रोफाइल में आपकी सिटी में लेट्स से 1,000 लोग हैं, तो आर यू शोइंग अप इन द टॉप 20 रिजल्ट्स ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर सर्च? अगर द आंसर इज येस, देन यू आर काइंड ऑफ हैविंग अ गुड ब्रांड. इफ द आंसर इज नो, देन यू आर लैगिंग बेसिकली, you're not up there. So ये करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. Followed by adding relevant skills on your LinkedIn profile for discoverability is very important. Like I said, I'll do a full video on this, how to do it, how to get ahead on LinkedIn, etc. But just for information basis, what are the pointers that you need to cover is something that I'm telling you right now. Becoming privately open to work is very important, because organizations really value you signaling them that you are open for a new opportunity, etc. Getting into first degree connections of your industry recruiters. If you're in IT, you should know at least 40-50 your recruiters in your industry. If you are in FMCG, another 40-50 recruiters in FMCG, FNB, retail, pharma, healthcare, all sorts of industries. Whichever industry you're working in, you should know the top 50-60 recruiters and get connected with them. Then uploading your CV on LinkedIn profile is very helpful. Why? Because the recruiter can just go ahead and download your CV, look at your phone number or email, and directly contact you if required. Tagging yourself with relevant industries and keywords is highly important. You might think that you work in, let's say, EV, but maybe LinkedIn doesn't recognize EV right now as an industry. Rather than that, tagging yourself in automotive might be a very, very good idea, because even the recruiter, when they do a search, they would want to look at a larger base, and hence they'll always start with an automotive kind of an industry. Similarly, you can think of, let's say, alcohol and beverages is the industry you're working in, but rather than tagging yourself in albev, you should also target yourself or tag yourself in food and beverages, because that's the mother industry, and that is where most of your search will also happen in. Followed by contact details. If you can share on your LinkedIn profile, nothing like it. Recruiters love it. They always are looking for phone numbers so that they can directly call you and not wait for your response if they reach out to you on LinkedIn, right? So that's about it. I wanted to do a quick video on how to be ready on LinkedIn, as well as how to be ready for layoffs if that happens with you. This is just the starting point on how to get ahead in your career, or how to be ready if something bad happens to you in your career. In the following videos, we'll go much deeper into understanding, how do you exactly get data around your market? How do you exactly get LinkedIn ready? How do you, specifically come in the top profiles in your search, in your let's say function, etc., so that recruiters start reaching out to you, right? So thank you so much. I'll see you in another video of mine very soon, and take care of yourself. Thank you. All the best. Bye.